The quantum detection array beneath the Atacama Desert had never registered anything like this before. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readouts, her coffee forgotten and cold beside her terminal. The signal pulsed with a regularity that couldn't be natural, carrying information in ways that defied conventional physics. "Director Warren needs to see this," she whispered, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. Within minutes, the facility's secure quantum network had transmitted the data to every major defense installation on Earth. The signal's message arrived exactly 3 hours later, bypassing every communication system on the planet. Every screen, every holographic display, every quantum interface simultaneously displayed the same image, a tall, crystalline being with faceted eyes and translucent skin that seemed to shimmer with internal light. "People of Earth," the being spoke in perfect universal standard, "I am High Commander VYX of the Arcturian Collective. For centuries, we have watched your species poison itself with technology, becoming ever more dependent on machines. Today, we offer liberation." In the United Earth Defense Council chamber in Geneva, 500 representatives sat in absolute silence. General Marcus Jang, Supreme Commander of Earth's official military forces, stood at the central podium, his weathered face betraying no emotion as the message continued. "You will be given one standard rotation of your planet to surrender all advanced technology. Those who comply will be granted protectorate status. Those who resist will face immediate technological separation. This is not a conquest, it is salvation." The message ended, leaving behind only a countdown timer, midnight. Voices erupted in the council chamber, a cacophony of fear and outrage. General Zhang raised his hand, and silence fell again. "Dr. Chin," he said quietly, "please explain what your array detected." Sarah stood, her dark eyes scanning the room. "The signal originated from approximately 2 light-years outside our solar system. But that's not the interesting part." She pressed a button, and a complex energy pattern appeared above the chamber. "This is their quantum signature. And this," she pressed another button, "is what we've been detecting for the past 200 years. The patterns matched perfectly." "They've been watching us," Sarah continued, "but not as closely as they think. They've been monitoring our public networks, our civilian technology, our official military capabilities. They haven't found what we've kept hidden." General Zhang nodded slowly. "Computer, activate Protocol Omega. Authorization, Zhang 772 Epsilon." The chamber's lights dimmed, and new holographic displays appeared, showing vast underground complexes, orbital platforms disguised as debris, and entire fleets hidden in dimensional pockets throughout the solar system. Earth's true military capability, concealed for centuries. 200 years ago, Zhang spoke, his voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "When we first detected their surveillance, our ancestors made a choice. We would let potential enemies see what we wanted them to see, a species struggling with its technology, barely managing to achieve lunar colonization, fighting among ourselves over resources." Sarah stepped forward. "Meanwhile, we built this." She gestured to the displays. "The Silent Shield. A defensive network more advanced than anything the Arcturians can imagine. We've been studying their technology through their own surveillance signals, developing countermeasures they don't even know are possible." The chamber erupted in murmurs again, but this time there was no fear, only anticipation. "The Arcturians believe they're saving us from technology," Sarah continued. "They've spent centuries watching a carefully crafted illusion. What they don't realize is that humanity mastered quantum engineering 150 years ago. We've achieved things they consider impossible because we let them think we couldn't." General Zhang's voice cut through the murmurs. "The question before this council is simple. Do we maintain the deception, or do we show them exactly who they're threatening?" In her private laboratory beneath the Atacama facility, Sarah reviewed the Arcturian signal again. Their technology was impressive, but she could see the flaws, the assumptions, the weaknesses. They thought they were dealing with a primitive species. They had no idea they were walking into a trap 2 centuries in the making. Her quantum terminal chimed. A message from General Zhang. "Operation Silent Shield is authorized. Begin Phase 1. Sarah smiled as she entered the activation codes. Across the solar system, hidden quantum processors began to spin up. Dimensional shields that had never been tested in actual combat prepared to deploy. Weapons platforms that officially didn't exist emerged from their camouflaged positions. The Arcturians had given Earth 24 hours to surrender. They would learn, as so many others throughout history had learned, that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in the weapons they could see, it was in the preparations they couldn't. The countdown continued, but now it wasn't just measuring time until surrender. It was measuring time until revelation. And in her laboratory, surrounded by technology that could reshape reality itself, Dr. Sarah Chen prepared to show the Arcturians exactly what humanity had become while they thought they were watching us stumble. The real question wasn't whether Earth would surrender its technology. The question was whether the Arcturians would survive discovering just how badly they had underestimated the species they thought they needed to save. Commander James Harrison stood on the bridge of a ship that officially didn't exist. The EDS Shadowkeeper drifted in a dimensional pocket near Jupiter's orbit, invisible to conventional sensors. Through the quantum glass viewport, he watched as Earth's civilian defense fleet scrambled in apparent panic, their movements deliberately clumsy and uncoordinated. "They're buying it," his tactical officer, Lieutenant Maya Patel, reported with a slight smile. The Arcturians are broadcasting victory signals across all standard frequencies. The Arcturian fleet had arrived exactly as predicted, their crystalline ships forming a perfect geometric pattern at the edge of the solar system. Thousands of vessels, each one radiating with what they thought was overwhelming technological superiority. "Dr. Chen's analysis?" Harrison asked, his dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. Maya brought up a quantum feed from the Atacama facility. Sarah Chen's image appeared, her expression focused. "The Arcturians are proceeding exactly as expected, Commander. Their fleet formation indicates they completely believe our technological inferiority. They're not even running active shields on their secondary vessels." Harrison nodded. For 2 centuries, humanity had maintained the greatest deception in its history. Every public space launch had been deliberately inefficient. Every military satellite had been designed to look primitive. Every international conflict had been carefully staged to make Earth appear divided and technologically stunted. Meanwhile, in hidden facilities across the solar system, humanity had advanced beyond anything the Arcturians could imagine. "Begin Phase 2, Harrison ordered. Across Earth's surface, civilian populations were evacuated into underground arcologies that the Arcturian sensors couldn't detect. What appeared to be mass panic was actually a perfectly choreographed movement of billions of people into safety. Every stumbling refugee, every crashed vehicle, every failed defensive measure was part of the plan. In her facility, Sarah Chen activated the quantum observation matrix. "Commander, I'm detecting something interesting. The Arcturians, they're broadcasting on frequencies they think we can't detect. They're pitying us." Harrison allowed himself a small smile. "Of course they are. That's why we chose this approach. Their entire society is built on the idea of technological superiority as a form of benevolence. They genuinely believe they're saving us." The Arcturian fleet began its advance. Their first wave of ships moved with graceful precision, weapons powered but not yet firing. On all frequencies, they broadcast messages of peaceful surrender, of acceptance, of salvation through technological liberation. Earth's civilian defense forces responded with outdated missile technology and crude energy weapons, all carefully designed to fail spectacularly. Each explosion, each retreat, each desperate transmission reinforced the Arcturians' belief in their mission. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a command center carved from quantum-stabilized rock, General Zhang watched the performance unfold. "Status of the silent shield?" he asked. "All systems at full capacity," Sarah reported through the quantum link. "The dimensional pocket generators are maintaining perfect stability. The Arcturians have no idea that their entire fleet is already inside our defense grid." Harrison's voice joined the conversation. "The Shadowkeeper sensors confirm they're completely committed to the attack vector. All ships are proceeding exactly as your simulations predicted, Dr. Chen." The Arcturian High Commander's voice boomed across all frequencies again. "People of Earth, your resistance, while admirable, is futile. Accept our guidance. Embrace technological liberation. This is your final warning. In response, Earth's civilian defense fleet launched what appeared to be a last, desperate counterattack. Ships with deliberately exposed weaknesses, weapons with obvious flaws, all moving according to predictable patterns that the Arcturians' tactical computers could easily counter. They're launching their primary attack wave, Maya reported. Exactly as predicted. Harrison straightened his uniform. Dr. Chen, is the quantum matrix ready? Ready, Commander. All hidden facilities are synchronized. The dimensional shift can begin at your command. General Zheng's voice came through the quantum link, carrying the weight of 2 centuries of preparation. Commander Harrison, Dr. Chen, Operation Silent Shield is now entering its final phase. Show them what humanity has become. In her facility, Sarah Chen's fingers danced across quantum interfaces that the Arcturians would consider impossible. The hidden technology of Earth was about to be revealed, and the true face of humanity's advancement would emerge from 200 years of shadows. The Arcturians thought they were liberating a primitive species from technological dependence. They were about to discover that humanity had surpassed them long ago and had simply been waiting for the right moment to prove it. As Harrison gave the order to begin, he remembered an ancient Earth saying, "The perfect trap isn't one that looks like a trap, it's one that looks like exactly what your enemy expects to see." The Arcturians had expected to find a primitive species in need of salvation. Instead, they had walked into the most elaborate military deception in galactic history. And now, the trap was ready to close. The quantum matrix activated silently, invisibly. In her underground facility, Sarah Chen watched as billions of quantum calculations executed in perfect synchronization. Above her, through layers of dimensional shielding, the Arcturian fleet pressed forward, still broadcasting their messages of salvation. They never saw the trap until it was too late. Quantum fold complete, Sarah announced through the secure network. All Arcturian vessels are now within the dimensional envelope. Commander Harrison's voice came through crystal clear. Execute Operation Awakening. Across the solar system, reality itself seemed to shift. What had appeared to be empty space between planets suddenly shimmered, revealing vast networks of quantum-linked defensive platforms. The debris field around Earth's orbit transformed, thousands of pieces of apparent space junk revealing themselves as advanced weapon systems. On the bridge of his crystalline command ship, High Commander VYX watched in stunned silence as his sensors reported impossible readings. Where moments ago they had detected only primitive defense systems, now they showed technology that shouldn't exist. Couldn't exist. Impossible, he whispered, his crystalline form reflecting the sudden alarm lights flashing across his bridge. Their technology level was confirmed. We've been watching them for centuries. This is Commander James Harrison of the Earth Defense Force, a new voice announced across all frequencies. You're currently surrounded by the Silent Shield defense network. Your ships are trapped within a quantum-dimensional envelope of our design. You have 1 Earth hour to withdraw your forces and leave our solar system. In the Atacama facility, Sarah studied the Arcturians' response through the quantum sensors. Their crystalline ships were attempting to break free of the dimensional envelope, their engines pushing against physics they didn't understand. They're trying to quantum tunnel their way out, she reported. Should we show them why that won't work? Proceed. General Zheng's voice was calm, measured. Sarah activated the quantum countermeasures. Around each Arcturian ship, space itself seemed to solidify. Their advanced drives, capable of bending reality to achieve faster-than-light travel, suddenly found themselves contained within bubbles of altered space-time. What is this technology? High Commander VYX demanded, his voice carrying both rage and fear. This is beyond your level of development. No, Harrison replied simply. It's beyond what we allowed you to see. The Shadowkeeper emerged from its dimensional pocket, its true form finally revealed. The ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, its hull composed of quantum-entangled materials that could adapt to any attack. Around it, more ships appeared, Earth's true fleet, hidden for centuries. Sarah's voice came through the command network, they're charging weapons. Primary targeting systems engaging. The Arcturian fleet fired first, launching what they believed to be unstoppable quantum phase torpedoes. The weapons passed harmlessly through Earth's defensive screens, their energy absorbed and redirected through networks of quantum sinks. Return fire? Lieutenant Patel asked, her fingers hovering over the tactical controls. Harrison nodded. Show them a fraction of what we can do. Earth's fleet responded with precision. Quantum beams struck Arcturian ships at exactly the right frequencies to disrupt their crystalline structure without destroying them. Dimensional charges created localized pockets of altered spacetime, trapping vessels without harming their crews. In the Geneva Command Center, General Zhang watched the battle unfold. Status report? 80% of their fleet is now combat ineffective, Sarah reported. No casualties on either side. The quantum containment fields are holding perfectly. The remaining Arcturian ships attempted to coordinate a counterattack, but each tactic they tried had been anticipated centuries ago. Earth's quantum computers had run simulations of this battle millions of times, developing counters to strategies the Arcturians hadn't even thought of yet. High Commander VYX, Harrison's voice was steady. Look at your tactical display. Really look at it. Do you understand what you're seeing? On his crippled flagship, VYX stared at the readings in disbelief. The humans hadn't just matched Arcturian technology, they had surpassed it in ways his people had never imagined. Every ship movement, every weapon fired, every defensive measure showed levels of quantum engineering that should have taken millennia to develop. How? He finally asked, his crystalline form dimming with shock. How did you hide this from us for so long? Sarah Chen opened a direct channel to his ship. Because you saw what you expected to see. You watched our public broadcasts, our visible military, our apparent conflicts. You never thought to look for what we didn't want you to find. Through the quantum link, she transmitted data that made VYX's crystalline form pulse with shock, centuries of human advancement, carefully hidden behind a facade of technological struggle. The true history of Earth's rise to quantum supremacy, concealed by the greatest deception ever attempted. The question now, Harrison said, is what happens next. Your fleet is contained. Your weapons are useless. And you're about to learn that everything you thought you knew about humanity was exactly what we wanted you to think. In her facility, Sarah Chen prepared to reveal the final phase of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. The Arcturians had come to save humanity from technology. Instead, they were about to discover just how far humanity had gone while pretending to need saving. The awakening was complete. Now came the real test. What would an empire built on technological superiority do when faced with the truth of its own obsolescence? High Commander VYX's crystalline form pulsed with colors that betrayed his inner turmoil as he watched the tactical displays. Around his crippled flagship, the pride of the Arcturian fleet hung motionless in space, caught in quantum fields they couldn't understand. But it was the new sensors readings that truly shook him to his core. Mars, which had appeared to be a barely colonized world with a few primitive domes, was transforming. Vast sections of the red planet's surface shifted, revealing sprawling complexes of quantum technology. Hidden cities emerged from dimensional pockets, their architecture defying the laws of physics as the Arcturians understood them. Jupiter Base, you are clear to reveal, Commander Harrison's voice echoed across all frequencies. The gas giant storms parted, revealing something that should have been impossible, a massive structure suspended within Jupiter's atmosphere, untouched by the planet's crushing pressures and violent winds. The facility pulsed with quantum energy, its very existence challenging everything the Arcturians thought they knew about technological limitations. In the Atacama facility, Sarah Chen monitored the quantum fields containing the Arcturian fleet. They're trying to broadcast a signal back to their home systems, she reported. Should we let it through? General Zhang's response came immediately. Let them see. Let them all see. The signal went out, carrying with it sensor data that would shake the foundations of Arcturian society. Their entire civilization was built on the belief in their technological superiority, their divine mission to guide lesser species away from the dangers of advanced technology. Now they were confronted with evidence that humans had not only mastered technology beyond their understanding, but had done so while maintaining a centuries-long deception. On the bridge of the Shadowkeeper, Commander Harrison watched as the first signs of division appeared in the Arcturian fleet. Some ships were attempting to maintain battle formation, while others were clearly trying to retreat. Dr. Chen, he called through the quantum link, "Are you seeing this?" "Yes," Sarah replied, her fingers dancing across quantum interfaces. "Their fleet's quantum signature is becoming erratic. I think we're seeing the beginning of a philosophical crisis." She was right. The Arcturian communication channels were filling with heated debates. Some captains were calling for immediate retreat, others for a suicidal last attack. A few were demanding direct communication with Earth's leaders, their worldview shattered by what they had witnessed. High Commander Vuax's voice cut through the chaos. How did you advance so far without becoming dependent? Without losing yourselves to the machine? Harrison's response was measured, because we never saw technology as something to fear or worship. We saw it as a tool, nothing more. Your people watched us for centuries, believing we were struggling with technological advancement. What you really saw was humanity learning to master technology while never letting it master us. In orbit around Earth, the quantum defense platforms shifted, creating a corridor through which the Arcturian fleet could retreat. It was both an offer and a demonstration, showing them they could leave while simultaneously proving that their movement was completely under human control. "The Mars facilities are fully revealed," Lieutenant Patel reported. "Their sensors are going crazy trying to understand what they're seeing." The Red Planet had become a testament to human ingenuity. Quantum forges that could reshape matter at the subatomic level, dimensional research centers that explored realities beyond normal spacetime, and energy production facilities that harnessed the fundamental forces of the universe, all hidden for centuries behind a careful illusion of primitive colonies. "They're receiving transmissions from their homeworld," Sarah announced. "Multiple quantum frequencies. Their leadership is in chaos." General Zhang's voice carried a note of satisfaction. "Initiate Phase 4. Show them the Jupiter array." Deep within the massive facility suspended in Jupiter's atmosphere, ancient machinery awakened. The array was humanity's greatest achievement, a quantum computational network that could process more calculations in a second than the entire Arcturian civilization could in a year. As its power became visible to the Arcturian sensors, their ship's crystalline structures resonated in response. The array wasn't just computing, it was rewriting the local laws of physics, creating a space where humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics could be fully demonstrated. "Your entire fleet," Harrison explained calmly, "is currently held in a bubble of spacetime that we can control completely. Your weapons cannot function here. Your engines cannot engage. Your reality is, quite literally, what we allow it to be." The implications weren't lost on the Arcturians. Their mission of technological salvation had been based on the assumption that advanced technology would inevitably lead to dependency and destruction. Yet here was humanity, wielding power beyond their comprehension while maintaining perfect control. Sarah Chen opened a direct channel to Vuax's ship. "You came to save us from technology, High Commander. Perhaps it's time to discuss who really needs saving." The counter was complete. Earth had revealed not just its technological superiority, but its philosophical mastery as well. Now came the moment that would determine the future of both species. Would the Arcturians accept this new reality, or would their belief in their own superiority drive them to destruction? In the quantum fields between worlds, two civilizations faced a moment of truth. And in her facility beneath the Atacama Desert, Sarah Chen prepared to show them one final truth that would change everything. Sarah Chen stood in the quantum projection chamber beneath the Atacama Desert, her form simultaneously appearing in every Arcturian vessel through technology that made their holographic systems look primitive. She could see the crystalline beings' reactions, pulses of color that betrayed their emotional states, ranging from fear to awe to confusion. "Your civilization," she began, her voice carried through quantum channels that couldn't be blocked or distorted, built itself around a noble goal, preventing the misuse of technology. But in doing so, you became what you feared most, being so convinced of their technological superiority that they lost sight of their own limitations. In the command center, General Zhang and Commander Harrison watched as Sarah implemented the final phase of humanity's response. Around Earth, the quantum defense grid shifted, not to attack, but to reveal something even more extraordinary. "We're not showing you our military might anymore," Sarah continued. "Let us show you what humanity has really achieved while you thought we were struggling with basic spaceflight." The quantum fields around Earth rippled, and suddenly the Arcturians could see through the centuries-long deception. Hidden cities that operated on purely sustainable quantum energy. Medical facilities that could cure any disease by rewriting reality at the subatomic level. Schools where children learned to manipulate quantum fields as easily as their ancestors had learned to write. High Commander Vuax's voice trembled. "This is impossible. No species could advance this far without becoming dependent on their technology." "That's where you're wrong," Harrison responded, his hologram appearing alongside Sarah's. "We never became dependent because we never forgot what technology really is, a tool, not a crutch. Every child on Earth learns quantum physics alongside ethics. Every advance we make is measured not just by what it can do, but by what it should do." The Arcturian communication channels erupted with chatter. Their entire society was watching now, billions of crystalline beings across their empire witnessing the shattering of their most fundamental beliefs. "Your own sensors confirm it," Sarah added gently. "Look at our power systems, our computational networks. We don't just use technology, we understand it. We control it. It serves us, not the other way around." In orbit, the quantum fields shifted again, allowing small groups of Arcturian observers to visit Earth's surface. They saw children playing in parks where quantum fields regulated the environment. They witnessed surgeries performed by doctors using thought-controlled quantum tools. They observed courts where truth itself could be verified through quantum entanglement. "But the most important thing we've developed," Sarah continued, "isn't our technology at all. It's our understanding of responsibility. Every human with access to advanced technology must first demonstrate the wisdom to use it properly." General Zhang stepped forward, his hologram joining the others. "We could have revealed ourselves at any time in the past 2 centuries. We could have dominated the galaxy with our technology. Instead, we waited, we watched, and we hoped that when the time came, you would be ready to understand." The Arcturian ships hung motionless in space as their crews and their entire civilization grappled with what they were seeing. Their mission of technological salvation had been based on the assumption that advanced technology inevitably led to dependency and destruction. Yet here was humanity, wielding powers beyond their comprehension while maintaining perfect balance between progress and wisdom. "Your empire stands at a crossroads," Sarah said softly. "You can retreat, maintain your beliefs, and continue your mission of salvation to other species. Or you can join us in understanding a fundamental truth. The greatest technology isn't the one that shows our power, it's the one that shows our wisdom." High Commander Vuax's crystalline form pulsed with new colors as he processed everything he had seen. When he finally spoke, his voice carried the weight of a civilization about to change. "All my life, I believed we were the guardians of proper technological development. Now I see we were like children playing with toys, thinking ourselves masters." In the quantum fields between worlds, something unprecedented began to happen. The Arcturian ship's crystalline structures began to resonate with Earth's quantum network, not in conflict, but in harmony. It was the first step toward an understanding that would reshape both civilizations. Sarah Chun smiled as she watched the quantum readings. The revelation was complete, but it wasn't the revelation of superior firepower or advanced technology. It was the revelation that true advancement came not from the tools a civilization built, but from the wisdom with which they used them. The future was about to change, not through force of arms, but through force of understanding. And in her facility beneath the desert, Sarah prepared to show both humanity and the Arcturians the next step in their joint evolution, a step that would make their current achievements look primitive by comparison. 1 month after the Arcturian fleet's attempted invasion, the great crystal dome of their High Council chamber hosted an unprecedented gathering. Crystalline beings sat alongside humans, their forms reflecting the light of distant stars through quantum-enhanced windows that showed the true beauty of spacetime. Sarah Chin stood at the central podium, her presence both physical and quantum projected across thousands of worlds. Beside her, High Commander VYX's crystalline form glowed with colors that his people recognized as hope. Today, Sarah began, we formalize not just peace between our peoples, but a new understanding of what civilization can become when we move beyond the fear of advancement and embrace the wisdom of progress. The quantum displays around them showed scenes from both Earth and Arcturian worlds. Cities were changing, technology evolving as two vastly different approaches to quantum science began to merge. Human intuition combined with Arcturian precision. Earth's balanced approach to technology meeting the Arcturian systematic understanding of universal laws. Commander Harrison, watching from the Shadowkeeper's bridge in orbit, smiled as he saw the fruits of centuries of patience finally blooming. Send the signal, he ordered. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden facilities began to power down their defensive capabilities. The silent shield wasn't disappearing, it was transforming. What had been built for war was being repurposed for peace, its vast quantum network now dedicated to understanding rather than protection. Our deception, Sarah continued, addressing both present audiences and the trillions watching through quantum channels, was never meant to be permanent. It was a shield, yes, but also a test. We needed to know if advanced civilizations could move beyond the desire to dominate and learn to truly understand. High Commander VYX stepped forward, his crystalline structure resonating with the quantum fields around him. My people came to Earth believing we were saviors. We leave as students, having learned that true advancement lies not in the power of our technology, but in the wisdom of its use. General Zhang, standing among Earth's delegates, activated a quantum display that showed the new joint project already under construction in Jupiter's orbit. The massive structure would dwarf even the hidden facilities humanity had revealed, combining Earth's quantum mastery with Arcturian crystalline technology. The Convergence Institute, Sarah explained, will be our first joint venture. A place where both our peoples can learn from each other. Where we can explore not just the how of technology, but the why. The quantum fields rippled as she gestured, showing simulations of possibilities that made even the Arcturians' crystalline forms pulse with excitement. Technologies that could heal dying stars. Fields that could prevent natural disasters across thousands of worlds. Advances that neither civilization could have achieved alone. But our greatest achievement, Harrison added, his voice carrying across quantum channels, isn't in our technology. It's in proving that advancement doesn't have to mean losing our way. That wisdom and progress can walk hand in hand. The assembly watched as the first joint human Arcturian ships launched from Mars, their designs incorporating the best of both civilizations. They weren't warships or vessels of technological salvation. They were exploration ships, meant to seek out other civilizations not to dominate or save them, but to understand and learn from them. The galaxy is vast, Sarah concluded, and we are all students in its great classroom. The Arcturians came to Earth believing they needed to save us from technology. Instead, they helped us prove that the greatest power isn't in the tools we build, but in the choices we make in using them. High Commander VYX's final words resonated through the quantum fields, and so we move forward, not as saviors and saved, but as partners in the greatest adventure of all, the quest to grow not just in power, but in understanding. As the ceremony concluded, Sarah Chin looked out at the assembled beings, both physical and quantum projected. The silent shield had served its purpose, not just as a defense against aggression, but as a catalyst for change. Earth had hidden its advancement not out of fear, but out of hope that when the time came, wisdom would triumph over power. The new dawn had arrived, and with it came not just peace between two civilizations, but a fundamental shift in how intelligent beings viewed their relationship with technology. The future would be built not on dominance or fear, but on understanding and cooperation. And in the quantum fields between worlds, the first steps of that future were already being taken, as humans and Arcturians worked together to explore not just what technology could do, but what it should do. The end was just the beginning.